It's not that I don't agree with it per se, but I don't agree with how it's framed in the market. Okay. The term ABM, in marketing, if you're not reaching out in a targeted way and doing marketing, and making sure that you're giving content that's like personalized and in context, then you're not doing marketing. So calling it out as a separate name to me just seems a little crazy.
All right, we are live here in DemoStack Studios in Phoenix, Arizona, and I have a very special guest today, Heather Moses. Heather, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what you do and for what company?
Excellent. Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I am Heather Moses. I am the new CMO at Allego, and Allego is an amazing company. It's all about modern sales enablement. So really trying to take, what marketing is producing, making sure that sales has what it needs, bringing it together, bridging the gap, and really trying to elevate the unsung hero of the sales enablement professional to a new status to make sure that they can kind of bridge the gap.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's often a little bit too, unrecognized, these unsung heroes, right? And in the sales enablement world, and they're doing a ton and really getting sales to work at scale. So
exactly.
Love the mission that you're on.
It's one team in the end.
Exactly, right? Cool. So let's jump right into it.
Great.
I know 2023 has started off a little bit of doom and gloom, especially for marketers, right? A lot of budget is being scrutinized. There's this very much importance of tying it back to revenue. So what would you say in terms of recommending to other marketers, how do they tie back their impact to revenue?
The important thing to note here is trying to keep it simple. So it's going in and really trying to understand, the touches along the path. And, ordinarily, I think it's about 11 touches, before someone actually becomes a sales qualified opportunity. So really understanding that pattern and, I think more simply looking at first touch, how people are coming in, and last touch, but acknowledging the fact that it's a whole team effort. It's, sales putting in, it's the SDRs, it's marketing as well, too. So really, taking the time to look at the narrative and not just looking at the quantitative data.
I love this because I think it almost does make it seem like it's not necessarily a team effort if it's just like, hey, marketing, how are you impacting revenue, right? We're part of the buyer's journey and we're all contributing to the same goal. I don't know if you can speak to maybe what Allego is in charge of or in previous roles. Is there a certain percentage of revenue that you think marketing should be responsible for? Have you operated like that in the past, or are you really just kind of in lockstep with your sales team?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it does vary company to company. Sure. At Allego, it's about 30%. Okay. I have my new fresh number, so I saw that. Yeah. In the past, it's been 50% in some places. Don't tell my new CEO that. But I think the truth of the matter is you can look at the data all day long, but if you're not looking at, if someone is not hitting their numbers, you have to get in there and help to support them. So, if the SDRs are a little bit under, it's talking with them to say, okay, how can we improve this? What kind of content do you need? Can we help you with some cadences? Same thing for sales. So it's really kind of getting everyone together to support the ultimate goal as one team versus just, okay, marketing, check the box, we hit our number. Well, we didn't hit revenue. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. And it sounds like, I love it because it sounds like you're very in touch and in tune with your sales leadership, right? You're always kind of asking for what you need. And I'm curious, I love this from almost like qualitative, trying to understand what's important to them. But is there a certain set of metrics that you're looking at, you're trying to improve? What would be an important metric to you right now, maybe coming into this role and previous roles?
Yeah, I think there's no magic metric. I would say it's about simplifying down the things that we're looking at to say, you can look at anything, but you have to agree. Okay, these are the set things that we are going to focus on and be consistent about measuring them so you can actually benchmark and see improvement overall. So coming into Allego, it's really been about, okay, how do we look at these 7 simple things like sales qualified leads? Yep. How do we look at, getting those over to sales qualified opportunities? How many new demos are coming in? What's organic traffic? So all of those things play a part in this.
Okay, now you just teed me up, and maybe this is the chili piper bias coming out of me, but
ready for it.
Inbound demos booked, right? And I think a lot of marketers, it sounds like you're not one of them, but maybe they're journey with the buyer ends right there, right? Like we got them to fill out the form, or maybe we even got them to request a demo. Are you even looking kind of further down of, hey, demos booked to demos held? And then out of those demos held, are they all turning into qualified opportunities?
100%. And I should have, like in my 7 metric piece, should have mentioned meeting scheduled as like a key piece that we are constantly looking at to see, okay, they've come in, how did they get there? They've requested the demo, the meeting scheduled, does that become an opportunity? So that to me is like the pivotal piece of the marketing world.
That. I know another thing now that's maybe top of mind for me, but I think a lot of marketers out there is, with so many budgets being slashed, headcount freezes, the slice of net new pie seems to be getting smaller and smaller. So a lot of companies now are turning to their customers and saying, okay, maybe we didn't give you as much attention as before, but did you know about all these suite of products? I noticed this department wasn't necessarily using this. So the focus is more on expansion, cross-sell. Curious if that's how you're looking at it at Allego. Is it still a pretty even split? Is there more of an emphasis on kind of expanding your customers today? What's can you walk us through that?
Yeah, amazing. I think, customers, I was reading some stat recently. It said basically, if you were trying to upsell to a customer, you're going to have a 60% success rate versus if you're, bringing in net new, it's about 5 to 20%. So going back to the well is, to the people that you've built that relationship and that trust with, I think is always an amazing thing to do. And for us, absolutely, that's one of our strategies, is to make sure that, they're aware of everything that we're doing, that they're aware of their approach and, how we can help them be successful. And it goes beyond just customer newsletters. I think it's, for us, it's in-app, not too much in-app, but, hey, did you know, like, here's something that could support you. In addition to that, from my past and what I'm really looking forward to at Allego is that we have this conference called S3, and S3 is really the opportunity to get all of our sales enablement professionals up on stage and really talking about like their challenges and their problems and networking and helping each other. And to me, that, and from that conference in the past that I've done, that's usually the biggest draw from a customer perspective in terms of like new revenue growth.
So is S3 like a third-party conference, or this is something that Allego hosts? Yeah,
it's Allego's. Yeah, we invite our customers. They come, they showcase, everything that they're doing, and we invite prospects in as well.
This is great because you're kind of leading me into it, and maybe this is one example. Of like what are some of those customer marketing initiatives or tactics that you've done? I love this idea of having like a user conference, putting your customers up on stage and having your prospects hear from peers rather than it coming from you. But I don't know if you want to take us a step further into what that's done for you in the past, or if you can share some previous experiences of customer marketing initiatives that have worked out really well for you.
Yeah, I think, drilling down a little bit further into this, the key pieces of this is it's building that affinity with your customers and that relationship. And, as much as I love digital, I think there's no replacement for face-to-face. So getting that time with your customers and really understanding what they're trying to do and helping them is really critical. And also, showcasing what they've done, because ordinarily they've taken a situation where things aren't working really that well. And then, coming on stage and saying how that they fixed that situation is huge. If you can impart one piece of wisdom of something that maybe you've slashed or reduced yourself, and maybe what's one thing that you're doubling down on, or speaking of marketers. Okay. So I think one bit of wisdom, which I remembered about a week ago as I came in and looked at the budget and knowing that we need to be making sure everything's optimal, is it's a story about Mick Jagger, actually, and my advice is embrace the constraint. So basically, the Rolling Stones would play early on at clubs, and they would load in all their equipment, and Mick Jagger would set up to dance, but he only had like this little tiny area, and that's how he has all his moves, is because he had to embrace the constraint of that tiny area where he was dancing. So I tell that to my team as well. It's like, embrace the constraint, look at this as an opportunity to be more creative and come up with new ideas that you probably wouldn't have done if you had a massive budget and it would have been easy to just outsource it. It's actually really thinking things through. I think that's the key right now.
Yeah. I think constraints definitely help with the creativity. So I wonder if this is fresh in your mind as you're coming into Allego. Are there certain go-to-market tactics that you always kind of rely on? And I know maybe it varies from industry and who your buyers are, but is there something that you kind of always go into a new role saying, hey, this has always served me and we're kind of going to take this path until I'm proven wrong?
Right. Yeah, I think, and I feel like there's a change happening right now in marketing as well too, where, you have these tried and true tactics that may not always bear the same fruit that they had in the past. And I think marketing is really, really, really all about testing and seeing what's working and what isn't working. So I don't have like, okay, we're going to pop up a webinar and do an event. It's like, they're just going to be raining revenue. It's more around making sure that you're providing value for your customers and for your prospects and like helping them become better at what they do. I think, someone on my team recently came up with something called Enablement, which is really just like 1 minute sales enablement professionals on LinkedIn. So far he's recorded, I think 70 of them. And people are just like eating it up because it's, it's content of people who are doing the job that is helping them do their job better. And in addition to that, he's actually interviewing people who are open to work as well and giving their philosophy around sales enablement. So it's kind of like become a bit viral on LinkedIn, which has been really nice. So I think anytime you can provide value, small content, size, because people have no attention span anymore. And no one's probably even listening to this at this point. But I think that would be my advice overall.
Okay, let's get a little controversial here, Heather.
Okay.
Is there a hot marketing topic that you hear kind of come up time and time again that you maybe don't necessarily agree with?
Okay, this is such a good question. I'll tell you what my pet peeve is. It's not that I don't agree with it per se, but I don't agree with how it's framed in the market. Okay. Again, like I'm going to get hate mail after this. But I just think the term ABM to me is just, in marketing, if you're not reaching out in a targeted way and doing marketing, and making sure that you're giving content that's like personalized and in context, then you're not doing marketing. So to me, there's, are you doing ABM? You really need to be doing that as a core function. So calling it out as a separate name to me just seems a little crazy.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good hot take. And it's funny. I feel like ABM marketers would almost agree with you, even though they hold the title. They're just like,
good.
Really, this is just like, this is good marketing practices, right? We're not just spray and pray and see what comes out on the other side.
That's not going to work.
Being a little bit more targeted in our approach.